Hello everyone, I hope you are doing very well. So welcome to this class. In this class, we are going to discuss some basic concepts of chemistry. Okay, this chapter is definitely interesting chapter, and this chapter is for what? Is for this chapter is for clearing our basics. Okay, so that we can get an introduction. What is chemistry? Okay, and what are the basic concepts of chemistry. We will be discussing these points in this particular chapter, and we will use these concepts in the upcoming chapters of class 11th and 12th as well. Okay, so in the previous classes, as I told you some important points. So what I told you, I want to recall the previous classes points, and then we will start today's session. So in the previous classes, I told you what is chemistry. Chemistry is nothing, that is a branch of science which deals with the what properties, structure, reactions of material substances. That is called chemistry. Basically, in chemistry, we deals with the interaction of matter, right? Interaction of matter, reactions, properties, structure, and everything, and composition. Then I introduced to you what is chemistry and what are the applications and importance of chemistry. Applications and importance of chemistry. After that, I introduced the term matter. What is matter? States of matter, properties of solids, liquids, and gases. What are atoms? What are molecules? What are molecules of elements? What are molecules of compounds? We will be discussing these terms as well. In the previous class, I told you about the classification of matter. Classification of matter. And I told you matter can be classified basically into two categories. One is like pure substance, and another is mixture. If the matter is present in the form of pure substance, so it can be element, it can be an element, or it will be a compound. Because I told you already, pure substances are those which have constant composition and constant properties throughout the sample. What about mixture? Mixtures, when two or more pure substances are mixed together, then you will get a mixture. Like mixture will be sand in water, like mixture will be salt in water, like mixture will be alcohol in water, etc. Based on the uniformity distribution of particles, we can categorize mixture into two categories. One is homogeneous mixture, and another is heterogeneous mixture. Heterogeneous mixture. As I told you already, the overview of this classification of matter in the previous class, today we are going to discuss deeply what are pure substances. Then we will discuss what are elements, example of elements, what are compounds, example of compounds, as well as definitions of elements and compounds. What is mixture? What is homogeneous mixture? Example of homogeneous mixture. In homogeneous mixture, actually we will discuss solution. Actually we will discuss this term solution, right? So homogeneous mixture are named as solution. Then we will discuss the properties of solution. After that, we will go to the heterogeneous mixture definition. In heterogeneous mixture, we have two categories. One is colloid and another is, tell me, one is colloid, another is suspension. Okay, so we will discuss these points in detail. We will discuss what are colloids, we will discuss what is suspension, what are the properties of colloids, and what are the properties of suspension. So this is an overview of today's class, that what we will be going to discuss. So let's continue with matter first of all. As I told you already, matter is something that has mass and occupies some space and can be perceived by our senses. So many examples around you, you can see which are matter. Not only examples around you, even you are also matter, even I am also matter. Okay, so if we will know the examples of matter, definition of matter, so you know the classification of matter as well. So first of all, let's discuss what are pure substances. What are pure substances? If you want to say, if you want to say that milk is a pure substance, it will be wrong. If you will go on a if you will go like what, for a grocery shop, if you will go on a grocery shop, so you can see in grocery shop it is written like this is pure milk, this is pure ghee, right? But actually that's not pure. In science the definition of purity is different as in our daily life. Okay, so milk is not a pure substance. In science the purity means, you can say the pure substances are those which have constant composition and constant properties throughout the sample. Suppose this is a wire and this is a copper wire. I am saying this is a copper wire. If you are checking the melting point of this copper wire from this part A, this part B and this part C, the melting point and the other properties of this copper wire will be same at every point. The resistance, the melting point, if the length and area is same. Okay, length and area of cross section is same along all the points. Okay, the point is that pure substances have constant composition and constant properties throughout the sample. It is very important to note down. Constant composition and constant properties. So milk is not a pure substance because it contains milk, you know very well, it is like complete food, and you can say it contains proteins, vitamins, and it contains like you can say like carbohydrates, fats, fat globules, etc. So milk is a mixture. It is a mixture of pure substances, but it is not a pure substance itself. So in pure substances we have two more categories. If we know what are pure substances, we know pure substances are those which have constant composition and constant properties throughout the sample. If we know the pure substance definition, so we can say the definition of pure substance can be categorized into two categories. One is an element, one is elements, or you can say element. Another is compounds. Now what is an element and what is compound? Let's understand. Elements actually are the simplest pure substances. Elements are simplest pure substances made up of only one kind of atom. Okay, for example, iron, cobalt, scandium, titanium, molybdenum, nitrogen, oxygen, neon, etc. Then how many elements are there so far? 118 elements have been discovered so far, right? So elements, simplest pure substances, and in the periodic table you can see the 118 elements are placed, okay, and properly organized in the tabular form, which is known as periodic table. We will discuss the periodic table and history of periodic table and how these elements are discovered and everything about the periodic table in the next chapters, which is the classification of elements and periodicity in property. It will be the third chapter, but before that we will be discussing the structure of atom after this chapter, that is some basic concepts of chemistry that we are discussing right now. Okay, so elements are the simplest pure substances. 118 elements are there. Then what about compounds? What about compounds? You know CO2, you know H2O, you know NO2, SO2, CH4, SO3, HNO3, H2SO4, CO, etc. etc. What are these? These are compounds. How these compounds are formed? You can see in this particular compound CO2, one carbon and two oxygen are there. One carbon and two oxygen are there. One carbon and two oxygen atoms are there. My point is there, if elements are combining chemically, if elements are combining chemically, then you will get compounds. Elements are combined chemically in a fixed ratio. In a fixed ratio, then we will get compounds. In a fixed ratio, then we will get compounds. So compounds are what? Compounds are formed when elements are getting chemically combined in a fixed ratio. We will get compound. We are saying in a fixed ratio. What do you mean by fixed ratio? It means the number of like atoms. You can see carbon and two oxygen. Always one carbon and two oxygens are there in carbon dioxide. In water, again same, two hydrogen and one oxygen. In nitrogen dioxide, again one nitrogen and two oxygen. In sulfur dioxide, again one sulfur, two oxygen. Same in other compounds. It means the number of atoms of each and every element in compound will be fixed, will be same. It will not change. It will be same. It will not change. I hope you are getting this point and you are very much clear what are elements and what are compounds. If you know elements, if you know compounds, so my next point is that suppose we have an element iron, we have another element sulfur, we have iron filings and we have sulfur powder. Okay, iron filings are like blackish in iron filings are there and sulfur powder is here. And we are suppose 10 gram is this and 10 gram is this. We are mixing them by two ways. First, only we are mixing physically, no chemical change, physically mix. And next is chemically mix by heating. That means we are mixing this 10 gram and 10 gram, but one is like manually physically mixing. So in petri dish, this is a petri dish. In this petri dish, we have mixture of what? Mixture of iron and sulfur. Iron plus sulfur. Mixture of iron plus sulfur. In this petri dish number, suppose this is A, this is B. Petri dish B, we have this is a mixture Fe plus S, but we are heating this mixture, suppose in this test tube. So after heating, you will get Fe plus S. No, you will get combined form, which is FeS. So here is FeS, which is like a blackish in color. My point is very interesting now. Listen me very carefully. If you have iron fillings, which is an element, if you have sulfur, which is also an element, sulfur powder, so elements are getting chemically combined in a fixed ratio and you will get a compound. So this will be a compound. The interesting point is that compounds do not show the properties of its elements. Compounds do not show the properties of its elements. Elements are different and compounds are different, having different properties. Compounds have their individual identity. Okay, they do not depend on elements. That means their properties do not depend on elements. So compounds are having identity of itself. It means iron is magnetic in nature. You can do a small activity to check which one is compound and which one is a mixture only. So we are saying that this is a mixture. How can we say that this is a mixture? Let's bring a magnet near to this. If you are bringing a magnet near to this, what will happen? Because iron is magnetic in nature, so iron fillings will get attracted towards magnet. These are iron fillings. They are attracting towards magnet. Attraction is here. Similarly, if you are bringing a magnet here, same magnet you can say, so iron plus sulfur is here, but due to heating, they are chemically combined. They are chemically combined here. If they are present as a chemical combination form, it means they are present here as a compound. So you can say there is no iron, no sulfur, only iron sulfide here, only ferrous sulfide here. This is ferrous sulfide. So what I want to say to, so we will get ferrous sulfide. This ferrous sulfide will not get attracted towards a magnet. Why? Because this is not magnetic in nature. But iron is magnetic. So you can say compounds do not show the properties of its constituent elements. They have their own identity and they are formed chemically. It means they are formed after a chemical change. Okay, this is about the compounds. I hope you are getting a clear idea. So let's understand these important and interesting points. So you can see here, first of all, as I told you, the classification of matter. So matter can be classified as mixture or pure substance. You can see the further subdivision. Matter is classified into mixtures or matter is classified into pure substances. Mixtures further classified into homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. Pure substances further classified into elements or compounds. I will discuss homogeneous, heterogeneous mixture, and I have discussed elements and compounds. What are elements? Simplest pure substances. What are compounds? Chemical combination of compounds are formed due to the chemically combined form. These are due to the chemical combination of elements in a fixed ratio. Chemically combined form. Chemically combined form of elements in a fixed ratio. Okay, let's move to the next. You can see the definition of pure substances. When all constituent particles of a substance are same in chemical nature. If all constituent particles are same in chemical nature, it is said to be a pure substance. But a mixture contains particles of two or more pure substances. Mixture contains when two or more pure substances are mixed together, and they can be mixed in any ratio. They may be present in it in any ratio. It means you can say pure substances have constant composition and constant properties throughout the sample, but composition of mixture is variable. It is not constant. It is not fixed. You can vary the composition of mixture. Apart from this, if I will go with the pure substances, the pure substances forming mixtures are called its components. That means mixtures are formed by mixing of two or more pure substances. So these pure substances are named as components. Many of the substances present around us are mixtures. For example, you are taking tea, which is also a mixture. You are taking coffee, which is also a mixture. Sugar solution in water is a mixture. Air is a mixture. These are all mixtures. Now I want to go with the mixture definition, mixture category, mixture classification, and then we will discuss the elements and compounds. Okay, but I told you already about elements and compounds. So let's understand mixture in detail. A mixture may be homogeneous or heterogeneous. If I am saying like mixture is homogeneous in nature, it means there is a uniform distribution of particles. It means there is a uniform distribution of particles throughout the sample. If I am saying a heterogeneous mixture, it means non-uniform distribution of particles. You can say non-uniform distribution of particles, non-uniform composition, like that. In a mixture, or you can say homogeneous mixture, the components completely mixed with each other and uniformly mixed, right? For example, if you are taking salt, and you are mixing salt in water, and you have sufficient amount of salt which can get dissolved in water, you will get salt solution. If I'm using the word solution, what do I mean by this word solution? I will tell you. So you are getting salt solution. Let's take this salt solution into this glass. You have a straw. Okay, this is straw. With the help of this straw, you are taking sip from this, this, and this, and this. From these four areas, or from this these four parts, you are taking sip. It means total four sips you have taken. And out of these four sips, how many sip? I'm saying sip. How many sips are having different taste? What are you saying? Every sip has same taste. It means you are saying whatever is the amount of salt and water is present in this particular area, and in every area this particular amount of salt and water is present, if the area is same, right? It means you are saying throughout the sample the composition is same. Throughout the sample the composition is same. Uniform distribution of particle is here. The uniform distribution of particle is there in salt and water mixture, which is named as solution, or you can say salt solution. This is very interesting point. If you are getting a clear idea about that, in homogeneous mixture the components are completely mixed with each other, and particles of components of the mixture are uniformly distributed. Particles of components of the mixture are uniformly distributed throughout the bulk of the mixture. Not only in the, so you can say the particles of components of the mixture are uniformly distributed throughout the bulk of the mixture, and its composition is uniform throughout. Sugar solution and air are the examples of homogeneous mixture. But in heterogeneous mixture, the composition is not uniform throughout, and sometimes different components are visible. Like in sand in water, sand will be visible, sand particles will be visible. Heterogeneous mixture, the composition is not uniform. You can see the particles are not uniformly distributed throughout the sample, right? This is about the homogeneous and heterogeneous mixture. For example, mixture of salt and sugar, grains and pulses, along with some dirt, often the stone pieces, are heterogeneous mixtures. Apart from this, the components of a mixture can be separated by using physical methods. It can be a homogeneous mixture, it can be a heterogeneous mixture, but they can be separated. The components of the mixture can be separated by using physical methods, such as you can use simple hand picking method. If we have grains and pulses along with some stone pieces, so you can separate them by hand picking method. Filtration method you can use, crystallization method, distillation method. These different techniques are used for separation of different types of substances based on their properties. Okay, based on some properties. So this is about the mixtures categories, homogeneous and heterogeneous mixture. In homogeneous and heterogeneous, we will discuss solution, colloid, and suspension as well. But before that, I want to go to the characteristic of pure substances. Pure substances have constant properties and constant what you can say composition throughout the sample, and they have characteristics different from mixtures, definitely, because pure substances are pure substances, but mixtures are not having like constant composition and constant properties. Constituent particles of pure substances have fixed composition, as I told you already. For example, copper, silver, gold, water, and glucose. Some examples of pure substances. Glucose contain carbon, hydrogen and oxygen in a fixed ratio. In always in glucose 6 carbon, 12 hydrogen and 6 oxygens are there. It means the ratio will be 6 ratio 12 ratio 6, 1 ratio 2 ratio 1. This is the simplest ratio, and always in glucose the simplest ratio of carbon ratio, hydrogen ratio, oxygen will be 1 ratio 2 ratio 1. Okay, and its particles are of same composition. Like all other pure substances, glucose has a fixed composition. Glucose is C6H12O6. Like all other pure substances, glucose has a fixed composition. Also, its constituents carbon, hydrogen and oxygen cannot be separated by simple physical methods. If you have a compound, so the separation of the elements which are combined chemically to form that particular compound is not possible by simple physical methods. For example, if you have water H2O and you want to separate hydrogen and oxygen, so you can't do it by simple physical method. You have to do some chemical methods, like you can use the electrolysis of water. Then you will get hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. This is about the characteristic of pure substances. Let's move to the classification of pure substances. As I told you already, pure substances can be further classified into elements and compounds. Particles of an element, only one type of atoms, because elements are the simplest pure substances. These particles may exist as atoms or molecules. I will tell you. Sodium, copper, silver, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, helium, neon, argon are some examples of elements, and we have 118 elements present in the periodic table. The next point, some elements such as sodium or copper contains atoms as their constituent particles. Sodium, copper, iron contains atoms as their constituent particles, but some constituent particles are molecules in some other elements. Which are found by 2 or more atoms. For example, oxygen atom cannot exist individually, so it will combine and it will form O2 molecule. In some others, the constituent particles are molecules which are formed by 2 or more atoms. It will be a O3 as well. Similarly, N2, H2, Cl2, etc. For example, hydrogen, nitrogen and oxygen gases consist of molecules H2, N2, O2, in which 2 atoms combine to give their respective molecules. You can see here, hydrogen will combine and you will get a molecule of hydrogen gas. Oxygen can combine, you will get a molecule of oxygen gas. So these are atoms of different element: hydrogen atom, oxygen atom, nitrogen atom, copper atom, sodium atom. When they will combine, not every atom, some atoms cannot exist individually, so they will combine and form molecule. About molecule, I will tell you some important points, but before that I want to go with compounds. When 2 or more atoms of different elements combine together in a definite ratio, in a fixed ratio, the molecule of compound is obtained. The molecule of a compound is obtained. And when same kind of atoms are combining to form a molecule, then molecule of element is obtained. Moreover, the constituent of compound cannot be separated into simpler substances by physical methods, as I told you already with an example of water. They can be separated by using chemical method. Example of some compounds are water, ammonia, carbon dioxide, sugar, etc. This is interesting point. Examples of compounds are like water, ammonia, carbon dioxide, sugar. The molecules of water you can see, the molecules of carbon dioxide you can see here. 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen is here. This is water molecule. 1 carbon, 2 oxygen is here. This is carbon dioxide molecule. The next point is here. Water molecule actually contains 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. A molecule of carbon dioxide contains 2 oxygen atoms combined with 1 carbon atom. A molecule of carbon dioxide, CO2, contains 2 oxygen atom combined with 1 carbon atom. So you can see CO2. But the point is here, the atoms of different elements are present in a compound in a fixed and definite ratio. Always in a fixed ratio. The number of atoms will be same. It will not change. Even the atoms will be same. Not only the number, the atoms will be same. This ratio is a characteristic of a particular compound. If I'm saying H2O is a compound, because it is a pure substance, is at constant properties throughout the sample. It means if you will boil the H2O, you will get at 1 atmosphere pressure, the 100 degrees Celsius will be the boiling point of water. With the help of this boiling point, with the help of these types of properties, you can identify whether this is a pure substance or not. So the atoms of different elements are present in a compound in a fixed and definite ratio, and this ratio is actually the characteristics of a particular compound. Also, the properties of a compound are different from those of its constituent elements, as I told you already. Like hydrogen and oxygen are gases, like sodium and chlorine are having different properties, where the compound formed by their combination hydrogen and oxygen will be water, which is a liquid. Similarly, the compound formed by sodium and chlorine will be a NaCl, which is used to add flavor, salty flavor in food. Hydrogen burns with a pop sound, and oxygen is a supporter of combustion. Sodium is NaCl. Sodium is highly reactive, and chlorine gas is having pungent smell and poisonous as well, right? And poisonous as well. So, and used in chemical war. But water, if hydrogen burns with a pop sound and oxygen is a supporter of combustion, but water is used as a fire extinguisher. Water is used as a fire extinguisher. That is very interesting and important point. So this is about compounds. In the next class, I will be discussing some important points regarding solution, regarding colloids, and regarding suspension. Solution, colloids, and suspension are nothing. They are the category, subcategory of mixtures. It means homogeneous mixture is solution, and heterogeneous mixture can be categorized into two categories, colloids and suspension. In the next class, we will be discussing these important points and the properties of solution, properties of colloids, and properties of suspension. So in today's session, we have covered actually the classification of matter and each and every point in detail. Right? Matter can be classified into two categories, pure substance or mixture. Pure substances have further two categories, what you can say, elements and compounds. And mixtures have further two categories, heterogeneous mixture and homogeneous mixture. We have learned about the definition of homogeneous mixture, examples of homogeneous mixture. We have learned about the heterogeneous mixture examples and definition of heterogeneous mixture. But in the next class, we will going to discuss solution, colloids, and suspension, and apart from this, the physical and chemical properties and the SI unit system. Right? So the next class will be going to be very interesting, like today's class. So thank you so much, everyone. We will meet soon in the next class, and till that time, take care. Goodbye. Thank you.